What if I told you that the UK government just blinked first in the global talent war? For years, Britain has projected confidence, raise salary thresholds, tighten skilled worker rules, extend settlement timelines, increase fees. The message was clear: we control the numbers. But now, the tone has changed. Because behind closed doors, policymakers are asking a very different question. Not how do we reduce migration, but are we losing the world's best minds to other countries? And that shift could change everything for skilled workers, global talent visa holders, and anyone planning a long-term future in the UK. Welcome back to GoUKGo. If you care about your career, your visa status, or your path to settlement in Britain, this is one of the most important developments you'll hear about this year. The UK government has formally commissioned a sweeping review of its entire high-skilled immigration system, and it's being conducted by the Migration Advisory Committee, the independent body that advises the government using labor market data and economic evidence. This is not routine. This is strategic. And it's happening because global competition for talent is intensifying, and Britain is starting to worry it may not be winning. Let's break this down properly. The review was formally initiated by Professor Brian Bell, chair of the Migration Advisory Committee, in a memorandum sent to Home Secretary Shabana Mahmood on February 28, 2026. In that memo, Bell confirmed the MAC had been instructed to conduct a comprehensive evaluation of the UK's talent immigration routes. Why now? Because talent attraction has been elevated as a national priority. It was outlined in the government's immigration white paper and reinforced by commitments made by the Chancellor at the World Economic Forum in 2026. And that Davos reference matters. Davos isn't about domestic messaging. It's about global positioning. When a country stands on that stage and promises to attract top global talent, it is making a pledge to multinational CEOs, research institutions, investors, and innovators. It is saying, we compete for the best minds in the world. But here's the contradiction. While the Chancellor was promising openness to global talent in Davos, the Home Office was tightening immigration rules at home. The skilled worker salary threshold jumped from £26,200 to £41,700. English language requirements increased from B1 to B2. Proposals emerged to extend indefinite leave to remain timelines from 5 years to potentially 10 or even 15. The immigration skills charge rose by over 30%. Overseas recruitment in health and care was restricted. Every one of those changes made the UK less flexible and, in many cases, less attractive. So now the government is asking, have we gone too far? Are we unintentionally pushing away the very people we need to drive growth, innovation, and economic resilience? This review isn't ideological. It isn't primarily political. It's competitive. And the competition is heating up fast. In October 2025, China introduced a new visa specifically targeting STEM professionals: science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. The program, often referred to as the K visa, allows outstanding foreign talent to enter China without requiring employer sponsorship. No sponsorship. Pause and think about what that means. Under the UK skilled worker route, you must have a licensed sponsor. You are tied to that employer. If you lose your job, you typically have 60 days to secure another sponsor or leave the country. Dependency is built into the structure. China's model removes that dependency. You can conduct research, start businesses, collaborate academically, and build projects without being tied to a single employer sponsor. For an ambitious AI researcher or biotech engineer choosing between systems, flexibility matters. And that's the kind of pressure the UK is now facing. Meanwhile, in the United States, despite President Donald Trump imposing a $100,000 annual fee on new H-1B visa applications in September 2025, top global talent continues to choose America. Why? Because long-term career value outweighs short-term cost. The U.S. market scale, venture capital ecosystem, compensation levels, research funding, and global brand dominance remain incredibly strong. Elite AI researchers, engineers, and tech founders are still accepting H-1B sponsorship despite the financial barrier. The UK quietly expected to benefit from American immigration turbulence. It hasn't. And that reality has triggered anxiety in policy circles. So what exactly is the Migration Advisory Committee reviewing? The scope is extensive, and it covers 5 major areas. First, access. How effectively does the UK immigration system allow highly skilled individuals to enter the country? This includes routes specifically designed for elite talent, such as the Global Talent Visa, as well as broader categories like the Skilled Worker Visa. The Global Talent Visa is supposed to be Britain's flagship route for exceptional individuals. Researchers, scientists, innovators, digital technology leaders, artists, individuals who demonstrate internationally recognized achievement. It offers major advantages: no job offer required, freedom to change employers, greater flexibility in work arrangements, and crucially, eligibility for settlement after just 3 years in many cases, instead of 5. But here's the surprising statistic. Uptake has been relatively modest. In 2025, approximately 6,000 global talent visas were granted. In the same year, over 200,000 skilled worker visas were issued. For a route marketed as elite and strategic, that number is strikingly low. The MAC will investigate why. Is the endorsement process too subjective, too complex, too slow? Are talented individuals discouraged by uncertainty in the application process? Are endorsement bodies applying inconsistent standards? Second, impact. What do highly skilled migrants actually do once they are in the UK? This is not theoretical. The review will examine data. Are global talent visa holders founding companies, publishing high-impact research, filing patents, creating jobs, driving productivity? Or are they largely performing roles similar to standard skilled workers? This analysis is critical because government decisions hinge on measurable economic return. Third, value. Beyond raw GDP contribution, what is the broader economic and cultural value of attracting global talent? Innovation spillovers, research ecosystem strength, university competitiveness, startup creation, international collaboration, soft power. These factors matter enormously in a knowledge-based economy. Fourth, policy design. What truly constitutes global talent? Currently, the system relies on designated endorsement bodies within specific sectors to assess applicants. But endorsement processes can feel opaque. Criteria can appear subjective. Applicants sometimes struggle to interpret what exceptional promise or exceptional talent concretely means. The MAC will assess whether the model works efficiently or whether structural reform is needed. And fifth, pathway coherence. This is where it becomes highly relevant for you. How do different visa routes interact with each other and with settlement pathways? Right now, the system is not fully coherent. A skilled worker visa holder who becomes highly accomplished in their field may still face a 5-year minimum for indefinite leave to remain, or potentially longer under proposed reforms. Meanwhile, a global talent visa holder can qualify for ILR after 3 years. So what happens if someone on skilled worker status develops significant professional recognition? Can they switch routes easily? Does the system reward progression, or does it create friction? The MAC is examining these structural disconnects. Because if the UK wants to retain high-value individuals long-term, immigration design must align with professional growth. And here's the timeline. The review is scheduled for completion in winter 2026, likely between December 2026 and February 2027. Following publication, the government will consider the recommendations and determine which to implement. That means potential policy changes could materialize in mid to late 2027. Now let's talk about what changes could realistically emerge. We are speculating here, but grounded in the review's scope. Global talent eligibility could expand to include more disciplines, particularly in emerging technology sectors. Endorsement processes might be streamlined. Criteria could become clearer and more standardized. For skilled worker routes, there could be differentiated treatment for high earners or shortage occupation professionals. The government may introduce accelerated settlement pathways for individuals meeting certain income or impact thresholds. One particularly plausible outcome is a two-tier settlement structure. High-value talent, global talent holders, and very high-earning skilled workers could maintain 3 to 5 year settlement pathways. Others may face extended timelines, possibly 10 years. Such differentiation would allow the government to pursue two objectives simultaneously: attract elite talent while limiting broader migration growth. And the Migration Advisory Committee's evidence provides political cover. Recommendations grounded in economic data are easier to justify publicly than politically driven adjustments. So, what does this mean for you? If you are on a skilled worker visa, this review directly examines your route. If you are on global talent, your eligibility criteria and settlement timelines may be reassessed. If you are considering applying, the environment may shift significantly by 2027. And here's the deeper strategic shift you need to understand. For the first time in years, the UK government is approaching immigration from a position of competitive concern rather than confident restriction. That psychological shift matters. It opens the door to reform framed around growth, innovation, and economic strategy, rather than solely net migration numbers. It doesn't guarantee liberalization, but it does create space for recalibration. China's no-sponsorship STEM visa. America's enduring dominance despite high H-1B costs. The UK's tightening measures. The government is looking at those variables and asking whether its current trajectory aligns with long-term national competitiveness. And that question alone is powerful. Because when a country begins to worry about losing the best minds, policy often follows. If you've made it this far, you understand how significant this review is. On GoUKGo, we don't just repeat headlines. We analyze the structural forces shaping your future. Over the next year, I'll be tracking every development: stakeholder consultations, interim signals, political statements, and finally, the winter 2026 report itself. When those findings drop, we'll dissect every recommendation and what it means for skilled worker holders, global talent applicants, ILR timelines, and long-term settlement strategy. Because immigration policy isn't just paperwork, it's career architecture, it's life planning. It's where you build your future. So if you're serious about staying informed and ahead of policy shifts, make sure you're subscribed to GoUKGo. Drop a comment. Are you currently on a skilled worker or global talent visa? Do you think the UK is competitive with China and the US? Or are rising thresholds and longer settlement timelines pushing talent away? Like this video if you believe Britain should compete more aggressively for global talent. Share it with colleagues navigating UK visas. And remember this: when governments move from confidence to concern, change becomes possible. Winter 2026 will be pivotal, and when that moment comes, we'll be ready to break it down. Until next time, this is GoUKGo, where strategy meets immigration reality.